How to create and use manually executed tasks in onboarding. The manually executed task is meant to be included in your process for steps that do not require specific action in the system, but as a reminder instruction to the assignee to complete a task outside of the Taleo system. An example would be a task to have your manager complete the provisioning forms in your IT system. In this video, you will learn how to create a manually executed task, how to add manually executed tasks to your process, how an assignee completes a manually executed task. So in my onboarding admin, I'm under task definition. For manually executed tasks, you will only create a task definition and then create the step in the process. There is no need to create any other content item. I'm going to select create. I'm going to give it a code. So I'm going to say hiring manager, IT provisioning, or whatever code you so desire. Fill out IT provisioning form is what I want the task name to be. Under my action, I'm going to select execute the task manually and hit save. Once I've completed the properties of my task, if I want to add a task notification, I can do so. So I can edit and leverage my standard task notification if I wanted to do so. I'm not going to add one to this step, but you can. And I'm going to activate this task. Now my execute a task manually is ready to be added to my process. So now I'm going to go back to admin. I'm going to go to processes. And I already have a draft process ready to go. So wherever you want the manager to be able to manually execute that task is where you're going to set up your process. You can set up this step just like you would any other step. So it works the same way in your onboarding process. It can be conditioned. You can have a condition set for it. It can be between steps. Wherever that step should fall in your process is where you want to set it up. Setting up the manually executed task step in your process works the same as any other step. If I preview my draft process, you can see here where I have the fill out IT request form as my first step in my process. This is my manually executed task. Again, this step can be anywhere in the process based on where you've mapped it. Once you have your step added to your process, you can then activate your process and activate. Once you activate your process and start your process, when that step is set to execute, your user, if you've added a task notification, will receive that task notification. Otherwise, when they come into their task panel, they will then see that execute a task manually step. You can see here I have my fill out IT request form. If I click on that, I can then mark the task as complete. So there's nothing for me to go into. There's nothing for me to view. It's going to be real important that when you label these tasks, that you make them comprehensive so the individual that's completing the task will know what they're supposed to do with this task. Another way to make sure individuals have the information they need in order to mark the task is complete is that you create a task notification that would have the more detailed items. So maybe your task notification for filling out the IT request form has information about who the new hire is, what position they're going into, providing them links to the IT system where they would go complete that. They would then have instructions on that email to say, once you have completed the IT request form, you can then go and mark that task complete. And all I would need to do is come into my task, select complete. It's going to give me a pop-up warning saying for me to confirm that I do want to complete this task. I'm going to select yes. And just like with any other step in your process, once that step is complete, your process will progress. Again, manually executed tasks can be used for things that don't necessarily need to have happen in the Taleo system, but there are things that you want to remind or track that your users need to complete. It can be assigned to an internal user, or it can be assigned to your new hire. Thank you.